Welcome back to the Paranormal Classroom, where we take attendance for the unexplained. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Lindsay, and we're two teacher moms talking about stuff that freaks us out.
In 1924, prospector Albert Ostman set out to find gold in the wilds of British Columbia, but instead, he found something far more incredible. A family of Sasquatches who held him captive for 6 days. Was it a wild adventure, or was it just the wildest story ever told? Welcome, scholars. It's my night to tell the story.
Ooh, I've never noticed this before.
Oh, we're in my car, by the way, so Lindsay's oohing over.
This little,
it's like a gold
what is that?
strip.
Rose gold strip across the front.
Yeah, my car's
What's
pretty
this?
fancy.
I just want to start pulling buttons. What does this do? Oh,
I don't know. It's a vent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. I love an electric car. It's nice. Meanwhile, I pull up in my son's Ford Mustang. We got him an old 2007, 130,000 miles Ford Mustang, but it's pretty sweet. He is so
cool. I'm sure he loves
excited.
it. That's such a nice gift for your 16-year-old.
It's pretty cool.
Really cool. Okay, so if you're just joining us, we always start with a segment called What's Haunting Us? So what is haunting you this week, Lindsay?
Nothing bad, but I've decided to run for political office.
Woo! Tell everybody about that.
So I filed on Friday to run for my city council, and I do not know what I'm doing, but I just know that I had to stop just talking about the issues I have issue with and do something about it. So it's a very steep learning curve, but there is a whole bunch of people who know more than I do, who are ready to support the next candidate for this position. I am running against a super MAGA guy, and I'm going to try to kick his butt. So that's been what's going on in my world.
I think that's exciting because you're super passionate. Like, if you've listened to our previous episodes, I'd say 75% of them in the What's Haunting You segment, you've really had like political stuff on your mind. It's really been haunting you, and you're really super passionate about it. So this is exciting.
I'm hoping it works out. We'll
jump
see.
in and make a difference.
Yeah. So there's a great organization called Run for Something, and you can find them on runforsomething.com. And the whole point is it's particularly targeted, or targeted sounds wrong, geared toward or advertised to sort of millennial and Gen Zers for running for political office, getting involved young. I am neither of those generations, but it's never too late to make a difference, for sure, and it's never, ever too late to learn. So I'm big on lifelong learning anyway. I love a challenge, and I believe in when a door of opportunity opens, just walk through it, because you just never know, and I've been that way my whole life, and the door opened widely on Friday, and I just stepped through. So we'll see what's on the other side. But right now, I'm excited to at least learn a lot and meet a lot of community folks. I'm meeting with the Moms Against Tyranny, which I didn't even know was a group in Puyallup.
Okay.
And it's...
Yeah, you're going to meet so many just wonderful people, like-minded and passionate and go-getters.
Everything that's right with this country is what I'm feeling like. It's people who just want everybody to have a fair shot, to be taken care of, to have their needs met, to feel welcome, to be educated, to just be seen, be heard, not be afraid. What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
I just want to fight for those things, and I'm going to do my best.
All right, everybody.
What's haunting you?
Send some energy into the universe for Lindsay.
Thank you. Well, just for the whole campaign, just for everybody involved, that it go the way that it's meant to go, and that we all keep our sanity in the process.
It'll be fun to follow you on that journey. What's haunting me? Well, we just had Mother's Day. And my Mother's Day was great. It was fine. It's always great. It's always great.
To ask.
No,
Good.
it's great. I'm not big on Mother's Day, and it's hard because like, if my kids are listening to this, I don't want them to listen and interpret it as, oh, mom's doesn't care about being a mom. I am. I love being a mom, but I am so mom all the time. And I don't get a lot of thank yous for it. And I don't get a lot of, you know what I mean? That I find the idea of the Mother's Day one day of a year a little bit I don't know what the word is, but there's something that stings about it just a little bit, because then that's the day where everybody's like thanking you and appreciating you, and you're like, well, what about
It
the
should
other
almost feel like
364 days?
Yeah. It should feel like just another day if people are doing it right
Right,
around you.
exactly right, yeah.
I asked for a do-over on mine.
You did?
I did, because, and half joking, but also like, just, my thing is that I don't have to do any chores I don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then usually I request that my family help me put together something for the backyard.
Nice.
Well, my daughter and my husband went and got haircuts and then went and picked up our son's car up north. So their day was gone. And then my son was home and I was finishing working on a part of the deck out in the rain with my dogs. So I got some, little gifts, and my kids did an amazing job with their gifts. My husband got me a 1965 replica of, or a current replica of a 1965 astronaut Barbie. They did well.
That's cool.
But I like quality time is my love language.
Mm-hmm.
So I want some quality time. And they said for sure. So with your family, with your kids, how is Mother's Day different, like top to bottom? What's the vibe? Who's doing what?
They make me breakfast.
That's cute.
It's delicious. But here's my perfect Mother's Day. My perfect Mother's Day, I guess, would be people doing things for themselves for a day. So like if my husband wants to know somebody's address, instead of asking me, he would go to the address book that I keep updated right by the fridge, right? Like that's number one.
Use your sources.
Number two, if you're going to make me breakfast, which I absolutely love, please clean up afterwards.
Do the dishes.
I had to clean up a whole volcano explosion of cooking. Yes, this is how it goes every year. So
no.
Yeah, and I want people to like remember what they need to pack for the day, or like all these things.
It's almost like it made more work for you in the long run. If your big thing is like a breakfast, then what? That doesn't make any sense to me.
I don't know. And people listening probably have a million different opinions. And yes, I have probably trained my family to have learned helplessness, and I'm sure I'm a big part of it. But I just would like them to do some reflection.
It ain't changing.
It's not changing.
Nope, your kids are gonna be grown and gone, and you'll still be
little window into my.
But you know what? You know who's gonna figure it out? Make them figure it out is future roommates.
Right.
Because they will not put up with these shenanigans.
That's right.
They'll figure it out. Well, dang.
No, it was good. It was a good Mother's Day. It's just, I know some people listening relate. I know there's moms and teachers out there who absolutely get it. Yeah.
And dads too. There are people of a variety of kinds who are underappreciated, undervalued, taken for granted. Spouses take advantage of each other. I'm guilty of that sometimes. Friends take advantage of friends. Like, it's just, you take people and things for granted sometimes. But ultimately, like, when someone asks you to treat them a certain way, please do that.
Please do that.
It's really straightforward, unless they're into something that you are fundamentally opposed to.
Right.
Then just treat people the way they want to be treated,
not the way that you want to be treated.
That whole like.
It's the
golden
platinum rule. Instead of the golden rule, it's the platinum rule.
My dad taught me that when I was young. Like, no. What if you were treated really crappy? Well, no, you're not going to have people treat you. You're not going to treat people the way that you were used to being treated. You can treat them the way they need to be treated.
Right. Yeah.
Platinum rule.
I love it. It would really make everything so much easier. Like, an example is, everybody who's been listening and following knows that I don't like eating noises. I don't like people talking with their mouth full. And so I was just talking with my husband about it. He wanted to do like some food plans with some people who talk with their mouth full. And I was like, I'll meet you guys after you eat. I had my boundaries set, right? And he starts making fun of me, like, that's crazy, that's so stupid, why would you do that? And I'm like,
don't gaslight
you don't
people.
You don't have to even get it. You
Right.
don't even have
You
to
have to
understand
respect it.
You have to just understand that that's a part of me. Don't make me feel stupid or crazy for it. And that right there is helping the situation, instead of, because now when he says that, then it's harmful. It's not helpful, it's hurtful.
Right. You're huge on that, repeating that phrase. Like, if it's harmful, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Only do things that are helpful.
Yeah.
Real straightforward again. Like, this is not brain surgery, rocket science, all the euphemisms. It's just find out how people want to be treated and do that. And then don't say anything or do anything if it might hurt them emotionally or physically. period. And we're going to make mistakes. We're human beings.
Yeah.
We're going to F up now and then. And then that's when you apologize, acknowledge what you did wrong, which can be hard, especially if you don't think you did anything.
Right.
So, but apologize for making someone feel a certain way, and then try not to do it again if, you know what, you can identify what it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, cool.
Cool.
Your story. I'm excited. I have no idea anything about what you're bringing today.
I have handpicked this story just for you, my friend, because
I feel like you're about to break into song.
Because you're a fan. You love him. He's your hairy friend. And he lives in
Bigfoot?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you a Bigfoot story.
Oh, God. Can I tell you really quick
Yeah.
something funny my daughter got me for Mother's Day? It's brilliant. It's so funny. She gets me. They all get me. So she got me this little gift basket of stuff she put together. Kids bought stuff with their own money.
No, so sweet.
Unprodded, anything. So she got me 2 pairs of really nice socks that are really cool. She got me a pair of gloves that are like the Book of Monsters from Harry Potter. She got me 2 pair of earrings, including these strange news ones that I'm wearing right now. And she got me some candy from Daiso, which is super fun.
Uh-huh.
And
great candy.
a book that she got at a bookstore that is a romance novel where Bigfoot
Oh, no.
is like the love interest. Yes. And the author, my daughter got on Instagram, found the author. Yep, it's a real person. And she has this whole thing about how she has a crush on Bigfoot. And this is like her fantasy. And I think it's hilarious. I haven't read it yet.
This is what I'm picturing. Is the cover is like Bigfoot, but with long hair like Fabio
It is.
laying sideways on a couch.
They're standing up with like the setting sun in the background, redwood trees all around. What I can't figure out is the female protagonist almost looks like she's wearing like a velour, like a Bigfoot colored velour tracksuit, like from the early aughts. Do you know what I'm talking about? Those Juicy Couture suits.
Is it like?
But it's made to look like Bigfoot fur.
Is it like?
Like it's formed fitted to her body.
That's weird. I'm thinking, is it like Velcro? So they like stick together and they're passion. They're just stuck together.
Oh God, I gotta read it. That could be all of chapter 2.
I've just written the whole story.
It's gonna be smelly. I thought for sure AI wrote it. Nope.
Oh my
Real
God.
human.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
What a great gift. Your daughter, whose name I won't say. What a great gift. Your daughter.
Yep. So, she knows. Now everybody knows. I got a thing for Bigfoot, but not that kind of thing. I'm not interested at all in boinking Bigfoot. I just like stories and the idea. I've never had a sighting. I'm not sure I want to. It's like one of those things like, I want to, but I don't want to. I want to, but I don't want to.
I get it. I do want to. Well, actually,
and I know
Sasquatch
exactly
might be
how to
scary.
go have one, and I still haven't done it.
Yeah, I would like to see an alien. I would like to see a ghost. I would like to see Bigfoot. But I think Bigfoot, I'd be more afraid of my safety of the 3.
I think I could take Bigfoot.
Bigfoot's like a wild man, you know?
But you never hear any stories of Bigfoot attacking anybody.
Wait till you hear my story tonight.
Oh, crap a duck. But I would definitely not like to be... Well, some days I feel like aliens take me now, but that would be pretty terrifying.
You think aliens would be scary? I really believe aliens are...
I think I'd have to go by the vibe. Like,
benevolent.
just like people. I think they're like people.
Yeah.
There's going to be some good ones. There's going to be some bad apples.
That's true.
I don't want to be taken by a serial killer alien. But if it's just a kind scientist who just has a few questions.
Who just feels like kindly putting a
Mr.
probe
Rogers.
in me.
Mr. Rogers
Mr.
of aliens.
Rogers.
I'm down for that. You got some little tiny alien puppets and songs? I'm down.
I love it. So I picked this story for you because I love you and you love Bigfoot. And I don't know if you've heard... I hope you haven't heard this story.
I've never heard of a story of it attacking anyone, I don't think.
Okay. So I'm gonna tell you a story that comes from a man named Albert Ostman.
Okay. Never
Haven't heard of him?
Mm-mm.
He's born in Sweden. So what's
Heard of it.
What's a Swedish accent? No, are they like
Oh.
yoo-hoo coming?
Oh, I used
Let's go skiing.
to have I gotta get it back. This character. Okay. Do you remember the Tinkerbell movies with this is Irish
Oh
again.
yeah.
With that guy, the little professor guy. So I created, based on his accent, because of course my daughter was young at that time. Based on that accent, I created a whole mad scientist character named Professor Lutefisk. And that was the voice I attributed to that character.
That's brilliant.
But I'd have to hear it again, and then I could
Okay.
slip right back into it. But Yeah, I love the Swedish accent.
I do too. And we have some quotes from him, and I might have you read them in your attempt at a Swedish accent. I think
I'll try.
So even though he was born in Sweden, he immigrated to Canada, and his job was, he was like a jack of all trades. This is in the 1920s. So this is a guy who, if he hears about a job in a coal mine, he's going to take the train and go. If he hears about a job,
those are Swedes for you.
Really?
Yep, my dad's family are Swedish Finns, and they were Swedes who heard of mining jobs in Finland, and they went to Finland in the nasty, like up to your waist in water mining cave type, nasty jobs, but it was lucrative.
Yep.
Had to put food on the table.
Yeah, I mean, you got to picture this guy. He's like a wilderness survivalist. He has no family, no ties that I know of, because he's able to just kind of go where the work is. Mm-hmm. It's all like labor work. And he's
strong, physically fit.
Mm-hmm. He hears about, he's at one of his jobs and he's staying in a hotel, and he hears that there might be gold in this certain part of Canada. And so he's like, well, I'm going to go. He's a prospector now.
Now he's Yukon Cornelius. He's an old prospector.
But he's still Swedish, so he's like, yoo-hoo, I'm going to find some gold.
The guy in what's it called? Frozen. Yoo-hoo! What do they sell? The guy in the sauna. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about.
He has the little, like, touristy little shop. I just remember, yoo-hoo.
That's him. That's him. So Albert Ostman, the Swedish prospector. Do you know anybody who's seen a Bigfoot?
Mm-hmm. I do. I want to have him on the show.
I would love that.
I just want to make sure we have good sound.
Okay.
And maybe not in the back of my car.
We are recording in the car if you're just joining us. That's our jam. My daughter's in dance across the way.
It would be one where I would try to maybe set up a recording in like my husband's office or something where he could meet us there.
That's great.
But his name is Scott, and he is a Bigfoot enthusiast, and he and his wife have both had lots of encounters and experience, and they are involved with the BFRO, the Bigfoot Research Organization. Or
is that just in Washington, or is it nationwide?
It's Oregon. It's Matt Moneymaker, I believe, is the one who studied it. He's from the Finding Bigfoot show, and so they're connected to some, like, reputable Bigfoot outlets, and they've told us that they would take us camping, and they know what to do, and they know how to get attention.
You need to go, and you need to then come and tell us all about your experience.
But they have a lot of theories about Bigfoot that the first time we sat down, we went to a Mexican restaurant with he and his wife, and they told us everything, and my mind was just blown. I was like, whoa. They might be aliens. They might be these spiritual interdimensional beings. They might be, it was just all these things coming at me fast and furiously, and since I've had time to process it, it's all like, well, maybe. Yeah,
we need some kind of explanation like that, because if you believe that Bigfoot exists, there's no scat, there's no remains, there's no
bones.
So there's something going on about them like popping in and out, or I don't know.
Yep, or that they live in trees. That's another theory. Like they're part of the tree.
Wow.
Like a spiritual
part
of the tree.
Okay,
You'll never look at a tree the same way, like in my backyard.
Bring in your knowledge to my story.
Okay, I'll do my best.
If you hear something that strikes you, let us know. So this place he heard of that has gold is called Toba Inlet, and it's a remote fjord. Sorry, I love
a fjord.
Fjord, fjord. It's on the southwestern coast of British Columbia, Canada. So if you can picture it, it's not far from us. Southwestern.
Mm-hmm. This isn't the Yukon, is it?
No. I don't remember where the Yukon is, but
is that Alaska? I think that's Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so Lindsay and I are in Washington. This is just north of us in Canada, southwestern coast.
It's real close.
About 35 kilometers inland from Desolation Sound. Have you heard of Desolation Sound?
What a terrible name. I heard another name of some, like, hiking trail that was like, oh gosh, our librarian was talking about it, and it was like Suffering Lane hiking trail. It was like, what?
I'd love to go there with the family.
It wasn't that, but it was something like suffering. It was a synonym for suffering. I'm like,
Wow.
what? Huh?
So
That's
weird.
not a good idea.
There's some story there to how that got its name, though.
I'm sure it was Oregon Trail related, but...
And Desolation Sound, this is exactly like what it was. It is surrounded by steep forested mountains and carved out by ancient glaciers.
Cool.
The area is rich in biodiversity, and it's home to lots of species like grizzly bears, eagles, and salmon. It's like super similar to our world right here in Washington, I feel like.
Except for the grizzly bears.
Yeah. But in the mountains, yeah, this is just like what it's like. And it features dense temperate rainforest with old growth cedar, fir, and hemlock.
My favorite kind of forest.
It's gorgeous. It reminds me of like the Hoh National Forest.
Yep, it is.
Out
It's
near
an extension of that, really.
Yeah.
It's in the same, what is that, latitude?
Yeah, it is. So we're so lucky we live by Forks and the vampires. The vampires and the Sasquatch maybe hanging out.
Where vampires can only live in places that are dark and rainy most of the time.
Exactly. Toba Inlet is very sparsely populated, and it's accessible mostly by a boat.
Okay. Keep talking. I'm going to Google it because I just need to get a visual on the geography.
If you hear noises, Lindsay's got
it's just me shuffling
ice.
again.
It's all good.
This is 2 weeks in a row with the ice. I think it's a problem for Amanda. I may need to find a different thing.
I'm just trying to think of what it's like as a listener, right? Because as a listener, the other week we had like the windows open and there were
last week.
I was listening and I almost had to turn us off because
I have
like a sound issue, right? And it was just constant crows.
That's so funny.
The crow noises. And the airplanes.
That was our first like summer night recording, and so we had to have the windows down because we don't want to have the engine running or the air conditioning running. But then we traded those sounds, which are really more like white noise and probably would have been better.
Yeah.
For helicopters, planes, crows.
Yeah.
Black-eyed juncos or whatever they are, tweedly-deeing in the background.
I just want to have a good product. I really like what we're doing, and I really want it to be as professional as it can, although I say that and we have no microphones and we're sitting in my car. So
right.
Where's my line? I don't know.
You want to be as professional as possible within reason. Okay, Desolation Sound. And what did you say was the name?
Toba Inlet.
Toba Inlet. T-O-B-A?
T-O-B-A Inlet. And it's a fjord.
I love a fjord.
Yoo-hoo.
Yoo-hoo.
Looking for gold in the fjord.
Oh, it's beautiful. I bet our librarian at my school is very familiar with it.
Yeah, maybe she's kayaked there.
It's 57 degrees and partly cloudy there right now.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Oh, my goodness. Yes, please. Ugh.
I know. Not a bad place to go prospecting.
Oh, my gosh. I would love to take a helicopter ride over this place. Maybe not a helicopter. A more plane-like thing. Okay, it's gorgeous. I get it. Yep.
It's gorgeous.
Beautiful.
There's barely anybody lives there. Sparsely populated. You have to take a boat to get out there. Its isolation and rugged terrain have preserved much of its wild character. Toba Inlet is part of the traditional territory of the Klahoose First Nation. I hope I said that right.
I think so. I saw it just written there just now.
And what's cool is the Klahoose is part of the larger Coast Salish cultural and linguistic group.
Yeah.
So we know the Salish tribe because that's
Coastal Salish,
our neighborhood. Yep. So that extends all the way up into British Columbia.
Yeah, when we do land acknowledgement statements around here, when we design those, one that we often attribute thanks to and historical recognition to is the Salish tribe.
Mm-hmm. The Klahoose First Nation, they have a long history of oral stories of large, hairy beings inhabiting the surrounding forests there. These narratives have been passed down through generations, and they describe encounters with creatures that share similarities with what we call Bigfoot.
Sasquatch. Yeah.
Yeah. What are other names for him? Yeti?
Yeah. That's sort of the Himalayan version, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's just awesome.
Anything
that, like, just about anything that comes down, passed down through oral history from First Nations groups, like, I'm in. You tell me that's what's been going on for centuries before white men showed up? Okay.
Yep.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Don't gotta tell me twice.
But I don't believe Albert Ostman knew of these stories and this, like, maybe he did, but I don't think he was planning to run into anything when he was out, other than gold, hopefully.
And being a white European male, he probably would have sloughed it off
probably
as fairy tale anyway.
Probably. So he's on his trip looking for gold, and he's been camping in the area for several days. He's like, this is a very experienced outdoorsman. It reminds me of that show. I love the show. Is it called Alone?
Yes.
I love Alone.
The Alaska
Yeah.
one. Oh, those people. They're incredible. They're superhuman people.
I know.
There's no way. There is no way I would ever do that. You see those videos that pop up on like 5-minute crafts on Facebook?
Yeah.
And it's like survival hacks.
Yeah.
And it rapidly goes through the gajillion things. I'm looking at that going, how do people come up with this stuff?
Yeah.
But also, like, in the case of end times, maybe I should pay a little more attention to how I open a can with no can opener.
I know.
Or get water out of a tree. It's wild.
I get so into it when I'm watching Alone that I'll like binge watch it when a new season comes out.
I do the exact
and
same
then
thing. We need to binge watch it together. What are we doing?
My husband will be like, "What do you want to eat?" And I'll be like, 3 blueberries and some chicken.
3 blueberries and a fish head. And if we're really lucky, a squirrel.
But it like makes me want to, like, I'm watching them starving and I'm like, I just want to eat.
Some nuts. Just a couple nuts, honey. Just put them right in my hand.
And a dandelion.
That would be quite the luxury. Oh, yeah. They go fishing and they'll be out there for ever just trying to get one thing. And then they get hypothermia, frostbite. They lose toes. They have to get called out because of medical emergencies.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, dang. Remember the one guy who killed the deer? And how big a deal that was? He shot a deer.
Oh, and it was a whole
he was a bow
process to
hunter.
get it back.
Yeah.
And
But he ended up winning, I think. And it was
he had
largely
meat for
because
days,
of that
so.
deer. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Albert Ostman, I picture him as one of these people on Alone, you know, who's just out there surviving.
That's exactly what I thought of the first time you described it. I was like, oh, it's Alone.
Really?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes.
That's cool.
I did not know you were into that. We need to watch it together. No one else watches it with me. Oh, another one of these stupid reality competition shows.
Okay. So Albert has set up a camp in a remote clearing. And he is sleeping. He's deeply asleep, wrapped in his sleeping bag. He's oblivious to the unnatural stillness that settles outside.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, his sleeping bag gave a violent shudder, and a low, long growl broke the silence.
What?
A massive claw tore into his sleeping bag. Thick fur brushed against his face as the creature, a towering, matted beast that stunk of wet earth, seized him by the leg in his sleeping bag and yanked him with brutal force.
I mean, immediately I'm thinking grizzly bear.
Sure.
Because bears have been sadly known to do that very thing.
Oh, they have?
Up in that area. Oh,
Just yank you right up.
there's actually video.
I don't want to watch video of that.
No, you don't. No, you don't. I haven't watched the full video footage, but it's available. But there's been a few people who've been up, like photographers or other researchers, just naturalists of different kinds who've just been shredded by grizzly bears.
This is so sad, but I guess that's a risky
You know
take.
what? Listen, we don't have to do that. You do not have to go camping where there are grizzly bears.
Well, I don't camp at all, so.
No, God, no.
Because I think of all kinds of creepy
It's
things.
so much work to do so much work.
It is.
No, thank you.
But this is Albert Ostman's life. He wants that gold.
How scary. He's all by himself. And you're rudely awakened.
Rudely awakened.
So you're not processing on all cylinders yet.
You probably did think it was a bear at first.
Okay, so then how... I gotta know what happens to he changes his mind and realizes it's something else.
So he's like screaming. He's half asleep, half in shock, and rocks, and he's being pulled. He's being drugged out of whatever location he's camping in and drugged through the forest. So rocks and roots are tearing at his arms and his back. He's being drugged through the underbrush. We have a lot of underbrush in this part of the world. Branches are hitting him in the face.
You're gonna be killed just being dragged through the
know.
underbrush.
He's trying to grab...
Eyes gouged out.
Yeah, he's trying to grab at anything he can, like you would, like, roots, stones, trunks of trees. But the creature's grip was relentless. And
that's not a bear. Well, it could be, I guess, still. Okay,
still could be a bear, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mile after mile, this went on for miles. You know, he's in a new area of the forest.
Skinned
now.
alive. Your skin would be shredded off of you.
I think he's still in his sleeping bag, so he has some protection.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that's lucky, if there's any element of luck to this.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's pulled into this like silent part of the forest, and he's like, there's no birds, no wind. The only sound is like the panting of this beast and the crunch of earth, and he's like terrified. He's in panic.
Absolutely.
Like anybody would be. Would you like to read his quote from his book in your Swedish accent?
Sure, but...
You know, once upon a time, you'd stop by just to say hello and howdy do. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'll do my best. I don't know how this is going to go.
Don't scroll down, because I don't want you to see.
So good at this.
I don't want you to see what happens next. So.
Okay. Yoo-hoo. Now he was going downhill. I could feel myself touching the ground at times. Nope, going Irish again. Touching the ground at times, and one time he dragged me behind him, and I could feel he was below me. Then he seemed to get on level ground and was going at a trot for a long time.
Good reading. That was perfect.
No, that was terrible. Now he was going downhill. I could feel myself touching the ground at times, and at one time he dragged me behind him, and I couldn't feel he was below me. Then he seemed to get on level ground and was going at a trot for a long time. You said miles. This is wild.
Yeah.
By this time, I had cramps in my legs. The pain was terrible. I was wishing he would get to his destination. That's funny. His destination soon. I could not stand this type of transportation much longer. That is a wild statement.
That's his quote from this book. Okay, good job, Lindsay. I think there's more quotes you could read later.
Oh, well, I'm going to have to brush up. I'll put them in later after I listen to a bunch of things in my car.
So once the creature stopped, Albert Ostman was able to take a look around, and he saw 4 enormous hairy creatures. 4 of them.
It's a party.
It's a party.
It's a family dinner. he's the main dish, I'm afraid.
He said that one was a female who was over 7 feet tall.
Wait, because did she have, like, breast tissue? Like, how does he know it's a female?
I'm assuming that they're not clothed.
She had a fresh
and they're hairy.
Brazilian blowout and was wearing a
and
bikini?
eyelashes?
Like,
no.
what?
No, I think that she was...
Probably had some mammary glands.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's very female.
Okay.
Maybe wider hips. I'm sure you could tell. I'm assuming.
She's like, yes. Female presenting
Sasquatch. And then the male presenting Sasquatch that had pulled him away from his camp was more like 8 feet tall.
Jeez.
So they're really tall. They had wide jaws, a narrow forehead that's...
Oh, yeah.
The kind... I've seen the pictures of this kind of Sasquatch. The narrow forehead that slanted up around the back like a cone.
Yep, I've seen that.
Cone-shaped head.
Yep.
Short, thick hair everywhere except for the bottoms of hands and feet, nose, lips, and eyelids.
Oh, okay.
But everything else hair.
Okay.
Fingernails like chisels, long, lopey arms, and padded feet. He said his feet were
which
padded.
Is handy.
Yeah, I guess you need that.
Mm-hmm.
He said, this is another quote. Do you want to read the next quote?
Sure.
Don't scroll on.
Okay. They looked like a family. Old man, old lady, and 2 young ones, a boy and a girl. The boy and the girl seemed to be scared of me. The old lady did not seem too pleased about what the old man dragged home. She's like, I just get something normal for dinner. I send you out one time. But the old man was waving his arms and telling them all what he had in mind. They all left me then. What's that last sentence? But the old man was waving his arms and telling them all what he had in mind. They all left me then. All what he had in mind?
I sympathize with the old lady, the mom.
Absolutely.
Because this is what just happened to me. My husband just brought a dog home on Thanksgiving.
Look at all this work you just gave me to do. Thank you.
It's not the dog that's going to be hard. It's going to be knowing that, like, I'm going to be cleaning up after. I'm going to be giving it a bath. I'm going to be making it food. That's probably what's going through this Sasquatch lady's head.
How the hell do I cook this? You didn't even clean it.
Or maybe they don't want to eat it. Maybe it's like a pet.
He's like... It's the evening's entertainment. Like, I just wanted pizza. Could you just not get the pizza?
Oh, I got this story for you because I thought you would enjoy it. But for me, it's one of those stories that doesn't have a lot of evidence.
There's no other witnesses.
It's one guy's story. So for me, I think
it's
ridiculous.
This guy is probably drinking a lot.
He probably is.
He's alone. in the wilderness, and it's cold, and he's bored, and there's probably, truth be told, there might be a little screw loose to begin with to do this kind of thing at this time.
To be this kind of person who lives
does
this
not
kind of
want
life.
doesn't need any connection with any other humans, just wants to be one with nature. I'm not judging that, for sure. I mean, that's to each their own. Go for it. There's some people I wish were more like that. But there might be something a little off.
There might be. And there'd be no medication or mental health services in this time, in this place.
Nope. But he wouldn't be the first, and he won't be the last person to report such an event.
Right. So he's held captive by this family of Sasquatches. And the creatures would leave Albert every now and then to go do their Sasquatch business, whatever that is, like hunting. I don't know. I was going to ask you, what do you think Sasquatch business is?
Hunting, gathering, probably sunning themselves, like when getting out of wherever their secluded place is to walk around. I imagine they got to get their steps in. They're pretty big creatures. And they're going to cover wide swaths of territory.
But you had said in the beginning there's some theories that they might go into the trees. Like maybe
or
the Sasquatch have to go into
other
the
dimensions.
Trees. Right. And
Portals.
maybe that's why they come and go.
Could be.
But Albert, he would try to leave, obviously. When they would leave, he would like wait around and try to leave and sneak out, and they would always pop back and drag him back. They didn't hurt. This is the interesting. They didn't hurt him. They didn't eat him. They didn't hurt him, but they wouldn't let him go. He was a captive.
They wanted?
I think it seems
curious?
like a pet, or
like an experiment.
I have no idea.
Like when we get, I don't know, it's so cruel, but you can get those bug houses, right? And you can take these little plastic bug houses out for your little kids, and they can go gather bugs from insects from the backyard, and then hold them hostage with no food or water.
Yes.
And they just die inevitably in this thing. I would never let my kids let them die. We just would watch them for a little while and then release them.
Right.
But that's kind of what it's like. It's like they've just trapped him in a little human house.
Yeah.
And they're just watching him, maybe observing him, playing with him a little bit, talking about him, being curious.
Maybe they've never seen a human before. If it's so isolated, maybe they've never seen one in there. Like, think what you would do
if you... in a long... Maybe they've heard about it from their past generations.
Yeah.
Because of the First Nations people, but maybe it's been a while.
Maybe it's like they think it's a stray. Like, you know how you see a dog walking around and sometimes you'll pick it up, put it in your car, bring it home, and then like post around.
You post,
they're out there like posting on Nextdoor.
Bigfoot Facebook.
Has anyone lost this prospector?
This hairless beast.
Okay, so
lost prospector.
In his book, he says he would ask them over and over. He would ask them, "What you fellows want with me? What you fellows want
with me?
What
you hairy fellows want with me? What you gonna do with me?" Nope, still Irish.
But they didn't speak English. They would just like speak in grunts and ooks and whoops.
That's exactly their language. Grunts and ooks and whoops.
Grunts and ooks and whoops.
And tree knocks and growls.
Yoo-hoo, what you fellows want with me? Albert noted that they didn't have any tools. The Sasquatch had no tools. And they were absolutely fascinated by everything that Albert had with him. Because Albert
yes,
still
he's like a little museum. He's a traveling museum of humanity.
Yes.
They got to get in there. They got to find out what's in your pack.
Yeah.
What's this thing you're wrapped in, like a cocoon?
Right.
Are you going to metamorphosize in there? What's going on?
And that's what they were doing. They were crazy curious. So they're picking everything up. They're smelling it. Albert used a cup. He had a little tin cup with him, and he used it to like drink his water. And it blew, absolutely, he says it's like blew the Sasquatches away.
That is so cute.
It is cute.
But I'd be like, dudes, if you had just asked, I would have shown you. But no, you wouldn't have, because then if I would have, walked up to you and been like, "Hey, notice you drinking water with a thing. Yeah. Can you show it to me and tell me how?" You would have shot me.
Right.
So sometimes you got to take drastic measures. If you need to know something, you're just going to have to kidnap a guy until he tells you what the information is. There's no way they could have approached him decently.
No, there's no way.
Civility.
There's no way.
They wouldn't have been met with civility.
So you're proving the point that the only option is to kidnap.
Yep.
When you're curious about something, Your
You just
only
kidnap-
option is
You just kidnap him. You just take him.
someone who doesn't speak another language or your language.
Yep.
Noted. Great.
Yep.
So Albert did have
Ridiculous.
he had weapons with him. He had his like knife and his gun, but he did not want to use them on the creatures. He said he was really like, they're not harming me, and I'm not going to shoot them. But he was captive by them. He was held captive for 6 days.
That's a long ass time. What did he eat?
I
Blueberries
think
and
blueberries.
dandelions?
Yeah, I think they brought him food.
Whatever they were
Whatever
eating.
they were eating, they'd share with him, or he'd be able to like get food, and probably made a fire and blew their mind with that too.
That's so funny. The fire would scare you. I feel like
Yeah.
there's some 80s movie where that happens. Like some creature makes fire, or human makes fire for some other alien creature or something, and it does blow their minds, but it scares them a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of what that movie is, but I can picture like the reaction of the other creature, like ah ah ah.
Yeah.
But I can't think of what
Probably
it was.
like a piece of ash popped out, it pops out of the fire and lands on your arm, and it hurts.
And it hurts.
Yeah. So he's held captive for 6 days. Lindsay, how do you think he's going to escape?
Just roll, like log roll.
Look over there.
Slowly, like, you know, I don't know if you've ever heard of, I remember being blown away by hearing about like an assassin or a sniper in like the Iraq War, and they could move like an inch every 6 hours.
Whoa.
And so they'd have their movement, because if they got any, because there's other snipers looking for them, right?
Oh my gosh.
So they had to move in such micro movements over such long periods of time so as not to be detected.
Oh.
So he's gonna apply that to a log roll out of the forest.
Wait, I see what you're saying. So the only reason he was captive 6 days is because he was moving at 6 days
Snail's
speed.
pace. He really could have. They were just watching him like, he could just get up and go, right? He knows that, right? You think he knows that? Like, we're done. We saw him. We get it. We checked out the cup. He could just
go. He could just go.
There must be something wrong with him. Maybe he likes this. This is his preferred mode of transportation. Okay.
Or maybe in Sasquatch speak, yoo-hoo means I like it here. I'm going to stay or something.
Forever.
Yeah.
I'm
Keep
new
me here
family
forever.
member. Adopt me.
All right. So Ostman, this is how he escaped, and it is absolutely genius.
Let me
If this
think of
is
a real
true,
way.
it is
What
genius.
else could he have done? Let's see. He could. You said it's absolutely genius.
It's genius.
Did he cover himself to look like another Bigfoot, like with branches?
That's a great
and
idea.
trees? And I don't think they'd fall for it because smell and stuff. I don't know. Okay, tell me. I don't know. The log roll
good-
at a micro pace makes me laugh.
Damn.
And just like grunting every time you go over a sharp stick. Go over like a half an inch an hour.
Okay, this is how he escaped, and I think it is genius. So Albert Ostman had with him a little tin filled with snuff. Do you know what snuff is?
Isn't that tobacco?
It's tobacco. Tobacco. He had
Ooh.
he had
Is he gonna
a
be
tin
like
of snuff.
like a
No,
like a
I don't
magician,
think
like
snuff
in the
works
fire?
like that. Like a smoke bomb.
What would that be? Gunpowder. Not the same as snuff. Nope. Nobody's putting gunpowder in their jaw.
So the old man, knowing how curious these Sasquatch creatures were,
Uh-huh.
he used the snuff, and then he left it for the male Sasquatch to do it. And he did the male Sasquatch copied him
Oh.
and put the snuff in his mouth, but he put all of it in, and he got
Super sick.
super sick. He got violently ill and disoriented. This is how Albert Ostman describes this. He says, the old man's eyes rolled back in his head.
Oh no.
He got super sick, stuck his head between his legs, and rolled away, squealing and running for the spring to get water. Running to water. Like he's so
What,
sick.
like Sonic the Hedgehog? He tucked his head between his knees and rolled away? That's I'm
That's how
not.
he described it.
When I feel violently ill, that's not my MO. Especially if I'm 8 feet tall and hairy. I'm not rolling away like a hedgehog. That's weird.
But it also says running for the spring. So I think he got sick. He
He
tucks his
did
head.
that thing
like
when you have motion sickness. Yeah, you put your head between your knees, and then he's like, I gotta go pops up and
He runs
hightails
into
it for the spring to, yeah.
And it worked. Ostman's plan worked, and this was his chance to flee. So he takes off running, and the old lady, chases after him. And the kids are there just hooting and hollering.
They're excited.
Excited. Like, go get him, go get him. She's chasing him. Ostman takes his gun out.
Which they've also probably never seen.
They've never seen it. And all he does is he shoots it over her head. Because he said many times he didn't want to hurt them.
Oh.
Because they hadn't hurt him. So
right.
he shoots it over her head. And that loud bang scared her.
But where is he going to go? It's not like he can run to the nearest neighbor's house.
No, he's going
to end back up at the tent and be like, well, I guess we'll repeat the same thing tomorrow night.
And I don't even think he knows where he is.
Because, oh, yeah, because it was miles.
In miles he was drug.
Where's he going to go?
I don't know. So he distracts the female. He scares her with the gun. She turns and runs off. And now he's finally, alone.
Okay.
Ostman ran up to high ground, which I think is pretty smart. So he could kind of
get the lay of the land.
Get the lay of the land. He ran up to high ground and he rested there for 2 hours, but rested on high alert.
Yes, but he also has probably no real calories in his
Probably
system.
not.
So
unless they were feeding him like a king.
He's got to conserve that energy. There's no way they were feeding him like a king because they'd have to cook it before he would eat much of it.
Yeah.
Maybe day 5 he's going to eat some raw meat or something, but probably not till then.
Maybe if they're interdimensional, they just pop over to their other dimension.
Get over to that interdimensional Taco Bell, grab you a Crunch Wrap Supreme and toss it at the human. I don't know. I'd love to know what he ate. Me too.
I didn't, I don't research super deep. We've talked about this before. We don't have time for that. So you're getting a taste. If you want to read Albert's book, you can read his book.
Oh, he's got a book. That's exciting.
This is all from his,
Oh, cool. Okay.
Okay, so he's taking a little rest for a few hours on high alert on the high ground. And then he continues down opposite direction from the Sasquatches. He hears a logging camp. He's like, oh, people.
Yes.
People. So he goes to the people, finds the logging camp, but he does not tell them what happened.
Mm-mm.
He thinks they'll think he's crazy.
Yeah, you just got to be like, I got disoriented. I got lost in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
I, fell down a cliffside, hence all of my drag marks.
Right.
Yeah, you can't. No one's going to believe you. And then you're going to be totally alone because no one's going to help you when the word spreads.
I would tell you.
But he's not going to tell a bunch of strangers.
No. And maybe at that time, maybe in the 20s, there was kind of more of like a cowboy attitude.
Dying to tell people.
I'd be dying to tell people.
Oh, that would be such a burden to bear to not be able to tell it because you wouldn't be believed.
But that's a cowboy thing, right? From all the movies I watched with my dad, I feel like they just keep it in. They just keep it in. They just don't share their feelings or their stories of Sasquatches. Like, you keep it in.
Such a waste. But yet there's so many westerns written and movies. So there's stories written by other people about what they imagine cowboys experience. Who's the big old famous... Who's the western writer that's so prolific?
Clint Eastwood?
No, like a author.
John Wayne?
Book.
Oh, the author.
My grandpa read all of those books.
My dad would know. I read Lonesome Dove.
Oh, yeah. Lonesome Dove
is an incredible book.
That is a really good book. Famous western author. So
what about Louis L'Amour?
That's it. Louis L'Amour.
That's weird. That popped in my head.
There's always a gajillion of them in every used bookstore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I wonder if Louis L'Amour was just like a French-American painter. Just imagining what western cowboys...
Okay, ready for me to keep going?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
So Albert's at this logging camp, and he's not telling them what happened. But they do point the direction he needs to go to hike and get out and back to a town. So he follows their direction, and he makes it out. Albert made it out.
Good job, Albert.
Made it out alive. But Albert was really concerned about being ridiculed and made fun of.
Yes.
He did not tell anybody for 30 years.
Did he go on to have like a family? And
I don't know.
Because how could you not? I guess people have stories, right? Big secrets that they keep because they're afraid of that person won't love them anymore, or won't give them a chance or will judge them.
Mm-hmm.
And so you just don't tell. And then it becomes like it's too late to tell.
Yeah, I get that. So in the 1950s, this is 30 years later,
Okay.
there were more Sasquatch sightings. They were becoming more and more like,
Mm.
you were hearing about them more in the news, and when he started to hear that there were other people who had kind of similar stories and seen similar
He's like,
things,
giddy up.
that gave him the bravery to share his story finally with a journalist. He like reached out to a journalist where he'd read
It's the Me Too
other
movement.
articles of me. Yeah.
It is. There's so much power in being vulnerable out loud, because then you empower other people
To do it.
to share the same or similar experience, which then emboldens you further. And pretty soon we're all braver
Yeah.
and feel more supported.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But, there a lot of skepticism, and I'm a skeptic too, of this story.
Sure.
His story was met with widespread skepticism due to the lack of physical evidence and the extraordinary nature of the claim. But I even though I think that this story is maybe malarkey, I don't think that the reason he kept it secret for 30 years is a reason to not believe him. I think that that's a thing that people do all the time. They keep stories to themselves.
And then they just say, like, you mean like they just make it up and they say, I've had this happen 30 years ago and I've kept it a secret this whole time just to make themselves more believable?
I just don't believe, I don't think it's a reason to not believe his story just because he didn't tell anybody for 30 years.
Oh, I see
don't
what you're
think
saying.
that's
I
a
heard you in
reason
an opposite
to not
way.
believe him.
Yes, right. I almost find it more believable when someone comes out of the woodwork and is like, I've never said anything about this before.
But here's what happened to me.
And you're like, whoa. Because a lot of times people with lived experiences, I think you get to, like, about our age, when you have 0 F's left to give, and you're just going to tell it like it is, and, well, people who love me, and the people who don't never will.
Right.
So here's the reality of my existence.
Right. I also don't know what evidence he could have brought back.
Right.
Like, there's no camera.
Is there
He doesn't have a
photos?
camera. He doesn't have, like, a cement to make a foot imprint, a cast. He's not going to pull a tooth out. He's just, he would have no evidence. He would have no evidence in this kind of experience.
And he couldn't even take them back to the same spot. He
couldn't.
idea.
Right. You're right.
Wow.
So his story remains one of the most detailed and well-known accounts in Sasquatch folklore.
Wow. And meanwhile, those Sasquatches got some sweet camping gear, because they probably went and picked up all his stuff.
He probably took out the
and they
cup.
were like, this is all we wanted. Should have just given us the cup. Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of Mr. Ostman's stories. That's wild. I hope that happened, and I hope that it happened that way.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that
Me
he
too.
truly didn't try to harm them, because so many times colonizers shoot first, ask questions later, when people are just sometimes just curious, or other beings were just curious.
It's so different from other stories I've heard. I've heard stories of Sasquatch being more like elusive, not really engaging, or throwing rocks at people. And
trying to scare us away.
Trying to scare them away. But
Which
this
usually
is totally
works.
different. This is like they just picked him up
I
as
wonder
a pet.
if they were homeschooling, for lack of a better term. Like, truly, they had 2 young Sasquatches, Sasquatchi, and they saw a virtual field trip right in front of their eyes to Western civilization. And they were like, get him. Joe, honey, I want you to go get him and bring him back for the kids, and we're going to learn about him, and then we're just going to send him packing.
The kids need an experience that is educational, enriching.
They are, their little tiny Sasquatch brains are rotting. Just out here in the same glen, the same clearing, the same
fjord,
the
the
same fjord, the same interdimensional time travel, day after day after day. Go get us that man. And then they could learn from him and watch him, just like the bug, whatever house.
Yeah.
With the built-in magnifying glass.
We got some good theories on the story. I forgot to do homework this week. I forgot to come up with homework.
I think a good question is, if you were out hiking, camping, or whatever, and you had an experience with a Sasquatch, you heard something that didn't sound quite right, you heard wood knocks, you heard the yell, this famous yell, or you saw something, what would you do? What do you think your innate response would be? What do you think your innate response would be?
Do I have a weapon? I'm
No,
a
it's us.
runner. I'm a scaredy cat. I don't run. Oh no,
I was
let
gonna
me be
like,
clear. Let me be clear. I do not.
You and I got
cannot
about 10
run.
paces in us. A good clip, and then we're done.
But I wouldn't like. I'd be scared.
You're gonna flee.
I would flee somehow, I guess.
Yeah. I'm kind of I've learned in situations like this, I'm a freeze and try to figure it outer. So I would think I was a fleer until I've been in situations where I sort of freeze. My eyes get really wide. My ears go to high alert.
Mm-hmm.
And I try to make sense of what's happening.
Yeah.
I have a very make it make sense like mode in life.
I see what you're saying.
So when I've had haunted experiences or like supernatural paranormal experiences in the past, when I tell people the stories, they're like, oh hell no, I would have been out of there so fast.
Yep.
I'm like, yes, if you told me this was going to happen to me, I never would have moved in. But in the moment, you'd be surprised. You kind of just go into like freeze mode and you listen and you just try to problem solve, like from your little frozen state. Okay, what are my options? What could I do? What's happening? What is that? Could it be this? Could it be that? Try to debunk everything really fast. And then when you can't debunk it, then you go, well, frick, what am I going to do?
Yeah. I totally understand what you're saying.
But you think you'd
Because I've seen people do that. I know I would turn and go, because I've been in situations before, like let's say you're at a like event on the street and you hear a noise and
firecrackers.
You hear like a noise and people are starting to turn and look at something. I won't turn and look at something. I'm like,
go the other way.
Like, we out. I grab my kids and we go. I'm not a like, I don't want to watch the drama. Or like we've had fights at the middle schools. There have been fights sometimes, and this horde of people will like want to watch. They pull out their phones or looking. As soon as it happens, I'm out. I'm like, I don't need to see this. No. I don't need to be a part of this.
There's nothing you can do because you were not supposed to do anything.
Well, I did go and get other teachers.
Well, yes, we can do that.
Yeah, like you got to do something.
But you can't get in the middle of it by yourself.
No, it's dangerous.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I've been at a Chuck E. Cheese where there was a fight about to break loose, and I was like, I don't know if these people are going to bust out guns.
Right.
And my reaction is similar to yours, especially if my kids are there. If my kids are there, I have a very different reaction, actually. If it's me by myself, I go into curious, what the heck is that mode? Solve it. If it's solve the mystery. But with my kids, no. I'm not taking any chances. And I like yell, we're out of here.
Out.
And but Mike's like, no, wait, what? No, it'll be fine.
My husband's the same way.
No, you can stay here then and potentially get shot.
Yeah.
We're leaving.
We were taking my daughter out to drive. It was like one of her first times behind the wheel, and we were in a parking lot at night, empty parking lot, and there was this group of kids, like young adults that parked, and they were being suspicious and they were being loud, and they just gave my gut the ooks, right? They just gave me the wrong feeling. And I was like, so my husband, I'm like, you got to stop the car, get in the driver's seat, and we have to go, or I'm going to get in the driver's seat and go. Because they started walking over towards us. And everything in my gut was like, this is nefarious.
Red alert.
Red alert. We need to get out of here. And my husband is like, let's see what they want. They don't want nothing good. We need to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening?
Well, first, like, I was freaking out that they were walking towards us, and then I'm freaking out that I'm not getting support.
Oh, God, I'd be so mad.
I mean, and I was mad, and my poor daughter, she like sensed, she's very sensitive. She sensed it all. She was in the driver's seat.
And she's a freezer.
So she froze, and I was like, you get out, open the door, get out of the door. Let me take over. And she's a freezer.
I'd just be like, gun it, Kaylee.
No, it was like her second time behind the wheel. She didn't know how to go past 5 miles an hour.
Like, now's the time to learn, folks. Pedal to the metal. Aim for that Bon Marché right there. Go.
I love it.
And when you get to the first obstacle in your way, closest to the Bon Marché, stop, hit the brake, and then put it in park, and I will get out and we'll swap. But right now, just trust me and go.
Yeah.
Don't ask questions. Just trust me. My job is to protect you.
Right.
Children and spouse and whatever. Like, don't go, huh? What?
Also, even if I'm wrong and those people wanted to come over and give us gum, even if I was wrong.
Pretty sure that's not the case.
What is it hurting? What is it hurting? It's not hurting anybody.
You owe them nothing.
Get in the car and go and make your wife feel better or make your mom feel, you know what I mean? Like,
again, harm versus hurt. The potential to be hurt in that situation was greater than the potential to not be hurt.
Right.
So you can go and honor your wife's wishes in the moment. It's not like it was a puppy with a broken leg hobbling toward your car. That's not a threat. It was a group of
It was threatening. It felt threatening.
People, humans, who are going to who outnumber you and could potentially carjack you.
Yes,
or worse.
Right.
It's
All
not
that
like
was
these things don't happen. And I don't know why some men walk around this planet like they're superior and totally indestructible,
they're so confident.
unkillable.
They're so confident.
So arrogant.
The confidence.
I'm not saying that our spouses are that, but there are so many people who, and I do think sometimes, like with my partner, with my husband, and he listens to the podcast and I love him dearly, but he'll acknowledge, as a tall white man, it's a very different lived experience.
Very different.
And there is this sort of privilege of being able to go anywhere and say anything and ask any questions and do anything, and you're not going to be threatened.
That confidence and that lack of fear is such a privilege that I hope men recognize, that women do not have that privilege. We don't have it.
Nowhere. There is always a thought in the back of our mind, wherever we go, wherever we are, whatever time it is, that we could be victimized.
Mm-hmm.
That is an experience that is our quote-unquote normal, and it is not normal. It's not okay. And men don't get it, and they never will. There might be queer and trans men who get it on a level that I wouldn't get, because they're potentially more likely to be victimized than I am even.
Yeah.
But most cisgender males, particularly white males, in this country don't get it.
But this is the whole point. We've said this several times in this episode, is that you don't have to get it.
Nope.
You don't have to understand it. What you need to do is listen to the experience. Like, listen to someone else's experience and what they're feeling, and
we're not hypochondriacs.
Yeah, don't tell them that they're crazy or out of their mind.
Over-exaggerating.
Don't tell them that they're wrong and stupid. Like, just listen to somebody's experience.
Right.
And just say, okay, that's what's happening to you.
Note to self, people who try to make women, their partners especially, feel crazy or stupid. You're married to me, you dumbass. Are you married to a stupid, crazy woman? What kind of fool are you? If you think you married a stupid fool, then you are a stupid fool. Get out of the car.
Well, we went off on a tangent. That's our Sasquatch episode.
I love it. I love a Bigfoot story, and now I want to go read that book that my daughter gave me, and I'll probably have the weirdest dreams of my life.
I want to read it when you're
I
done.
have been sleeping so good since Friday night.
Is it melatonin? What is it?
No. It's that I did something about my anxiety.
What?
Friday was the day that I decided to run for office.
Oh, Lindsay, that's great.
And I have been sleeping so much better.
Well, you were probably feeling helpless.
That's exactly what it was. And now I feel like I haven't solved anything.
Empowered.
But I feel like I took a step.
Right.
And that's been I had to give my first speech on Saturday night. And in that speech I said, everybody who knows me knows exactly where I stand. Mm-hmm. I talk all the time. Talk. And now I'm standing here ready to walk the walk. And so it's exciting. Feels like I just made one small itty bitty minuscule move, but that moved the needle just enough to give my mind some rest at night.
It's exciting. All right, class dismissed. And don't open the door.